All right, so I think I got my audio sync issue fixed, hopefully. Um, so this team is legit. Um, they're legit. This team, there's so many reasons why this team has improved, but I'm going to go over all of those in a minute. But this team is just legit. Um, if they beat the Warriors tomorrow and then on the tail end of a back to back, go in and just boot stomp the OKC Thunder, I might actually say that they are title contenders this year. That might sound strange that I would say that they're title contenders this year, but let me kind of explain. So this might actually be real. And this is kind of more in line what I thought we were going to get this year. Um, when I went back to look at the stats, I thought, hey, you know what? They have to be hot from three, or some other outlandish stat is the cause of their newfound success, and they'll probably come back down to earth. However, when I went back and looked at their stats, I actually found the exact opposite. Their stats across the board are all pretty much the same. However, they are down in terms of their corner three. So, their corner 3 point percentage, if that goes up, they should actually get better than they are now. Um, One thing that did stand out to me, though, is the assisted versus unassisted percentage of field goals, both from two and from three. The Jazz shoot a blistering 89.4% from assisted threes and 57.8% from two. The unassisted shot percentage is quite a bit lower in comparison in terms of the 3 point percentage, just 10.6% from three and 42.2% from two. Now, the percentage from two isn't bad, but keep in mind that's also factoring in high percentage shots like fast breaks, dunks, etc. Right? So, since nothing has really been abnormal, you know, what's the reason that we can point to say that the Jazz have turned this corner and became the hottest team in the NBA? Like, what's the one thing we can point to? I'm gonna be honest. I don't think there is one thing we can point to. I think there are multiple factors that go into it, and that's what I wanted to discuss here. So first off, the Jazz are now sixth in offense, and I think 10th or 11th in defense, and are the fourth best team in point differential. That's all great, especially considering what they were before. But why are they so much better? I think we need to look at this team as a whole and see what changes Will Hardy made and what changes the players made in order to get a better understanding as to why this team is so much better. And so since Colin Sexton has joined the starting lineup, he has been top 10 in points scored per attempts. I think it's like something like 28 points per game per for 14 attempts. I could be wrong, and that's over the past month and a half. So that's obviously not a hot shooting streak. In fact, Colin Sexton has actually been pretty cold from three, and yet he's still doing this. And Colin Sexton has also been assisting other players without turning the ball over. A lot of people think that Lauri Markkanen is the number one option on this team. I respectfully disagree. I think that Colin Sexton is the number one option and Lauri Markkanen is the number two. Colin Sexton has learned to facilitate his teammates while protecting the ball. He also he's just been masterful, just amazing at creating contact and getting to the free throw line. But his biggest improvement comes from learning how to slow down. Again, his nickname is Young Bull for a reason. He's just go as fast as I can and get to the rim. And he has learned to slow down. Make the right reads. Again, in the first video that I ever posted, he is learning to slow down, let the play develop, and make the right reads. And there was this really great play against the Raptors. It was a really simple play, but it was a really great play against the Raptors where Colin Sexton, he speeds up to try and get a step on his defender. He slowed down, trying to get separation, and sped back up. He realized he didn't have a shot, so he slowed down again, backed out, and passed to Kelly Olynyk for an open three that Kelly Olynyk knocked down. And there was another play against the Nuggets where Colin Sexton was driving to the three-point line. Early in the year, he probably shoots it. But to his credit, he passes to Jordan Clarkson. And to Jordan Clarkson's credit, too, he passes. He doesn't pass. I think, if I remember right, he doesn't pass right away. It looked like he was about to take the shot. And again, to his credit, he would have shot that 3-2. But instead, it turned into a very natural, very organic pick and roll for Sexton, who got fouled and converted the and one. It's simple plays like that where Colin Sexton has improved. And where other players have improved too, like Jordan Clarkson. Like he was he was part of that play. Earlier in the year, Colin Sexton most likely puts his head down and forces up a contested mid-range shot or gets blocked at the rim. But Colin Sexton wasn't the only one added to the starting lineup. Will Hardy has also done just a masterful job in adjusting the rotation and changing who plays with who. Walker Kessler was moved to the bench, mainly because Walker Kessler with John Collins just wasn't working very well offensively or defensively. It just wasn't working. And I think we can all agree it just was not working for whatever reason. I don't know why. So Will Hardy moves Walker to the bench, and he puts in Simone Fontecchio, which allowed for 5 3-point shooters out on the floor with the starting lineup. This also, in turn, helped Colin Sexton have space when driving to the hoop, as well as opened up drives, cuts, and also opened up passing lanes. Right? It opened up drives, cuts, and passing lanes to the basket. And also to the three-point line. Now the ball moves. You're seeing a ton of assisted shots to field goals made per game with much fewer turnovers. And the final thing that Will Hardy did was to insert Chris Dunn into the starting point guard role, which makes sense because Colin Sexton is more of a shooting guard. So they needed a pure point guard that could also create his own shot and shoot from three. Albeit rarely, he rarely shoots from three, he is still capable of knocking down the three. And he can knock down the three at a much higher rate than Walker Kessler can. So now you have 5 shooters on the court. You're playing a 5-out offense. And Larry Markkinen, who can be a secondary rim defender to help John Collins if he needs help defensively, while still keeping driving and passing lanes open with the amount of shooting you have on the court, that, in all honesty, it just adds up to a really great starting unit. And on the bench, you have Jordan Clarkson back in his 6th-man role, coming off the bench, and that allows Jordan Clarkson to thrive in the role that he was with the Jazz during the Quinn Snyder, Rudy Gobert, and Donovan Mitchell era of being a six-man and a spark off the bench against other bench units. You also got Keontae George coming off the bench, and that not only allows Keontae George to develop, but also allows him to play against bench units too. You also got Walker Kessler out there, who is able to play a more natural role of a center by having four shooters on the court. With him being out there, that opens up cuts for Walker Kessler and allows him to have a bigger impact offensively as well. So the Jazz, they don't just have a great starting lineup. They also have a deep bench, and their bench is averaging about 50 points a night, which perfectly illustrates how much depth they have. And it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch knowing that the Jazz are not going to lose a step when they make substitutions and they get their bench unit out there. Because against other bench units, they are going to cook them. And it's fun to watch. I think that's why the Jazz are doing so great, and I really do think that that is why the Jazz are a legitimate threat in the West. I do. And again, if they beat the Warriors tomorrow night, because I'm recording this the night before, while you guys are watching this, it's going to be tonight. But if they beat the Warriors and then follow up that by beating the OKC Thunder on the tail end of a back-to-back, when the OKC Thunder are on, have that rest advantage coming into the game on Thursday night, then I will absolutely say that the Jazz are real contenders. Well, that's going to do it for this one. If you liked the content, found it useful or entertaining, please like, subscribe, and comment down below. It really helps me out. If you didn't like it, please let me know what you didn't like and where I can improve. I love constructive criticism. I welcome constructive criticism. And at the end of the day, I want to be better so that you have better content. So please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Aside from that, win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly, and thankfully it's been really, really good to be a Jazz fan lately. We're going to react to it here on React to NBA. Thanks for watching.